Hey everybody, video here for you today. Now I'm working on a longer video where I'm going to be going over a lot of topics. If you have any questions you want me to answer, I will be answering questions, but today let's go down to South Carolina. This is White Pond down here next to Elgin, South Carolina. This is White Pond right here. Studies were done less than a year ago. Core samples, sediment studies. Do they tell us anything about what happened 12,800 years ago? Well, let's just read. I will leave a few links below. Here's a look at White Pond. It says new evidence that an extraterrestrial collision 12,800 years ago triggered an abrupt climate change for Earth. It says the muck that's been accumulating at the bottom of this lake for 20,000 years is like a climate time capsule. What kicked off the Earth's rapid cooling 12,800 years ago? In the space of just a couple years, average temperatures abruptly dropped, resulting in temperatures as much as 14 degrees Fahrenheit cooler in some regions of the northern hemisphere. If a drop like that happened today, it would mean the average temperature of Miami Beach would quickly change to that of current Montreal, Canada. Layers of ice in Greenland show that this cooling period in the northern hemisphere lasted about 1,400 years. This climatic event, called the Younger Dryas by scientists, marked the beginning of a decline of Ice Age megafauna such as mammoth and mastodons, eventually leading to the extinction of more than 35 genera of animals across North America. Although disputed, some research suggests that the Younger Dryas environmental changes led to a population decline among the Native Americans, known for their distinctive Clovis-type spears. Conventional geologic wisdom blames Younger Dryas on the failure of glacial ice dams holding back huge lakes in central North America and the sudden massive blast of fresh water they released into the North Atlantic. This freshwater influx shut down ocean circulation and ended up cooling the climate. That's the best guess that we have got from experts, so-called experts so far. That has been a common theory. Massive amounts of cold fresh water dumped into the North Atlantic, but here this is a fairly new study. This just comes from a few months ago. Sea level fingerprinting of the Bering Strait flooding history detects the source of the Younger Dryas climate event. And this is a very interesting article. This comes from Science Advances, and it's a pretty technical article, but the things they go over, and they are claiming this is the source of the Younger Dryas climate event. So that really caught my eye. I will leave this link below, but they have a lot of good diagrams in here and a lot of good information. Let me just read the introduction here. It says the timing of the last separation between the major North American ice sheets is central to paleoclimate studies and to arguments that an ice-free corridor served as a path for early human migration. However, efforts to constrain the history of retreat between the Laurentide and Cordilleran ice sheets have been limited by sparse geological observations. Glacial isostatic adjustment due to the disintegration of this ice saddle and removal of its mass load on the continent would induce a local sea level fall and exert an important influence on sea level in the Bering Strait, 2,000 kilometers to the west of this saddle region. Submergence of the Bering Strait modulates ocean circulation as it provides a return pathway for relatively low salinity Pacific waters to the North Atlantic via the Arctic Ocean. The timing of this initial connection is thus a key issue in reconstructing past ice extent as well as ocean and climate variability. I will leave this link below. They have a lot of diagrams on here. They tried to do a guess on how thick they think the ice was and when, but they think the Younger Dryas was tipped off by a massive amount of meltwater flowing off the west coast of Alaska. This is a very comprehensive study on this. Here it says map of relative sea level predictions at 13,000 and 11,000 years ago. If any of you want to read this, the link will be below. It's a very thorough article, goes over a lot of stuff, some pretty technical terms, but I found it very, very interesting. Here is the article that initially caught my eye, the role of Northeast Pacific meltwater events in deglacial climate change. This is very interesting, coming from the same website here. This is one of the most comprehensive set of articles I've ever read on the meltwater coming off the coast here around Alaska and down by the Columbia River. They also have charts showing the fluctuations around the time of the Younger Dryas period. Very interesting article here. These studies are very interesting. Did the Bering Land Bridge just get flooded? Or did that get flooded and then reappear and flooded again? Well, I'll leave this below if you want to read. But they concentrate here on the Younger Dryas period and what was going on in the waters here at this time period. Very interesting article. Getting back to the White Pond article here, it says, what would an Earth impact leave behind? Around the globe, scientists analyzing ocean, lake, terrestrial, and ice core records have identified large peaks and particles associated with burning, such as charcoal and soot, right at the time the Younger Dryas kicked in. These would be natural results of the cataclysmic wildfires you would expect to see in the wake of Earth taking an extraterrestrial hit. As much as 10% of the global forests and grasslands may have been burned at this time. It seems very likely this was a multi-impact event. Here is a video I did at the beginning of May. Abu Huraira destroyed by 12,800 year ago impact event. This comes from Syria. Seems like many places around the world were affected. It says, while many studies have provided evidence supporting the Younger Dryas impact, others have failed to replicate evidence. Some have suggested that materials such as microspherules and nanodiamonds can be formed by other processes and do not require the impact of a comet or asteroid. And I've been asked about things such as Robert Schoch's thinking or Thunderbolts project or the electric universe. And I really don't discount anything since we know very little about this time period. But you have to be thorough. And the evidence that I look to, and when I look at it in a full context, I think it was a fragmented comet or asteroid that kicked off maybe a series of events. It says White Pond has been part of this landscape for 20,000 years or more. A view of 12,800 years ago from White Pond. In the southeastern United States, there are no ice cores to turn to in the quest for ancient climate data. Instead, geologists and archaeologists like me can look to natural lakes. They accumulate sediments over time, preserving layer by layer a record of the past climate and environmental conditions. White Pond is one such natural lake situated in southern Kershaw County, South Carolina. It is less than 2 meters deep, even in its deepest portions. Within the lake itself, peat and organic rich mud and silt deposits upwards of 6 meter thick have accumulated at least since the peak of the last ice age more than 20,000 years ago. Here they are doing the studies at the bottom of White Pond here. Here are core samples taken from the bottom of White Pond. They examined a 10 centimeter thick layer that was dated to the Younger Dryas boundary. It says we were particularly looking for platinum. This dense metal is present in Earth's crust only at very low concentrations, but is common in comets and asteroids. Previous research had identified a large platinum anomaly, widespread elevated levels of platinum, consistent with a global extraterrestrial impact source in Younger Dryas layers from Greenland ice cores as well as across North and South America. They also did some studies on some tiny spores here coming from megafauna from their dung. It says, while my colleagues and I can show that the platinum and soot anomalies and the fungal spore decline all happened at the same time, we cannot prove a cause. It says the data from White Pond are, however, consistent with the growing body evidence that a comet or asteroid collision caused continent scale environmental calamities 12,800 years ago via vast burning and a brief impact winter. And I don't think it was very brief at all. It says the climate change associated with the Younger Dryas, megafaunal extinctions, and temporary declines or shifts in early Clovis hunter-gatherer populations in North America at this time may have their origins in space. Now here's a diagram of what is below White Pond. It's measured in centimeters here, the last 10,000 years, and then you get to this little layer here, shows spore declines, evidence of massive wildfires, platinum and other things that suggest that we got hit by something from space. Below this layer, you have abundant spores from the megafauna, and then in this layer here, it just disappears. All these things happened at once. Massive wildfires, the extinction of the megafauna, and the disappearance of the Clovis people. This is a story I wanted to do. Found this other article here. New dig supports asteroid theory as South Carolina tribe disappearance. Talk about the work done here at White Pond. Very interesting. Supports the idea that we were hit by something 12,800 years ago. Here's a video from last November from Antonio Zamora where he talks about 4 different research sites, and the White Pond was one of them. Let's just listen to a little bit what he says about White Pond here.
The paper by Moore et al. Examined White Pond in South Carolina and reported a large platinum anomaly and an increased platinum to palladium ratio at the Younger Dryas boundary. In addition, the researchers also found a decline in spores associated with dung from large animals, which is consistent with the megafaunal extinction 12,800 years ago. This is a LiDAR image of White Pond near Elgin, South Carolina, showing the location where cores of the sediment were collected. Geologists sometimes need to get wet and dirty as part of their job, but it is all for the sake of science. These pictures show a raft being launched with the coring equipment, and scientists obtaining the cores from the bottom of the lake. White Pond is a shallow lake that covers nearly 26 hectares and has a depth of less than 2 meters in the deepest portions. This image shows the White Pond core layers with a Bayesian age to depth model. The platinum content is charted as a red line, and the ratio of platinum to palladium is indicated with a blue line.
I will leave the link for Antonio's channel in this video below. I know some of you watch Ben from Uncharted X interview him. I know some of you read about his work in Graham Hancock's latest book, America Before. But if you are interested in this time period, you should really give Antonio a sub here. I was going to originally include this article when I did this video here, The Huge Mystery of the Carolina Bays. The story is pretty comprehensive, and I wanted to include the new research here coming from up by the Bering Strait of massive flooding up in that area. That is a video coming from South Carolina, White Pond down here. Does that give us a clue what happened 12,800 years ago? Well, it's part of the big picture. When solving mysteries, you have to be thorough. You just can't look at one thing and think you have an answer. That's not the way to solve mysteries, but I will be coming out with a video tomorrow, maybe an hour long. Be going over a lot of topics. I'll be answering some questions. So if you have a question you want to ask me, leave it in the comment section down there. I'll try to include it. Hope you thought that was interesting. You all have a very safe day.